Chapter 6, verse 58. This is the bread that came down from heaven. It is not like the manna your ancestors ate, and they died. The one who eats this bread will live forever. This is a conclusion on a very big, very spiritual, very complex conversation that Jesus is having with the Jewish people in the synagogue in Capernaum. They came looking for him for bread, and it kind of started with, "I'm the bread of life," Jesus said. And then he expanded on that and tied that to like the manna in the wilderness that came down from heaven, but then more. And then he said, the bread that I give is actually my flesh. And then he expanded, you got to eat my flesh and drink my blood if you want to have eternal life. And he's the one that's in unity with the Father. And he's the one that came down from heaven. And he's the better sacrificial lamb. And he's the better manna. And he's just closing this whole conversation out right here with this line. It's not like the manna. That was temporary. No. If you feast on Christ, this bread, the bread of life, you will live forever. And that's implied with Christ in the kingdom. You're going to find salvation in this. And this is many verses we've been journeying through in this conversation. This is a big, robust, and detailed conversation. Some of this stuff just, you get one or two verses and then the narrative moves on. This is a big one. John, inspired by God in this inspired book, this holy word, clearly put a great deal of detail in this part of the conversation so that we could walk through it step by step, because it's a hard word. They were struggling. And now we're going to be put in a position where, do we walk away from Christ like so many, or do we follow his disciples and do what they did and say, no, Jesus has the words of life. Where else are we going to go? I'm going to trust in this. Therefore, I will feast on Christ.